Hello, everybody. Welcome to our today's session about email marketing and email deliverability. My name is Sandra Schubert, and I'm an email strategist working at Validity/Retompa for over 10 years now, and I'm based in Paris. And I'm here today with my lovely colleague, Priyanka Roy from our London office. Priyanka, I'll let you introduce yourself, please.
Thanks, Sandra. Hi, I'm Priyanka. Again, like Sandra said, based in the London office. I am slash return path for a little bit over 9 years now, and I'm the director of customer success EMEA. Thank you.
Thank you. It has been a tough year for all of us, and especially for marketers. So digital has become the new normal, and for some marketers, this is a complete new world, and even for the more experienced ones, everything has changed. Email and email marketing is more than ever a very effective way to target customers. In this session today, we are going to take you through some of the basics of email marketing. We are talking about the ecosystem, the processes, some industry standards, and why all this is so important. So let's just get started, and Priyanka will give you some answers on the very famous question in the marketing world: what is deliverability?
Thanks, Sandra. So, guys, what is deliverability, right? We use this word so often and therefore thought we will start with the very, very basics. When I first started in this industry, I really thought, how difficult can it really be? It's just as simple as building a list, creating a content, hit the send button, and I'll get a very successful email journey. Boy, I was really wrong. There is just so much that happens for an email to reach the subscriber's inbox: content, list creation, infrastructure, fraud prevention, you name it. So many steps. But today, we will talk about three hurdles, steps to help you navigate that. So don't worry too much about this complicated slide here. Let me break it down and make it easy. So hurdle one is to make successful connection with the receiving server. If that does not happen, the email will bounce back to the sender. Hurdle two is getting into the inbox and not the spam folder. None of us want to get into the spam folder in the first place. Hurdle three is staying there. Deliverability is dynamic. And if you got into the inbox in the first place, it does not mean that you're going to stay there forever. But before we start, let's first clarify one concept. There is a big confusion among senders about delivery versus deliverability. It can get confusing from time to time. Delivery is when you cross hurdle one. Remember hurdle one in the complicated slide? And in that, you make successful connection with the recipient server. At this point, you still don't know where your emails will ultimately land, inbox or spam. Deliverability, on the other hand, is where you can measure whether your emails landed in the inbox or it was filtered into the spam folder. If there was spam folder placement, the visibility then helps you troubleshoot the main problem. With this in mind, how do we get into the inbox in the first place? To make it simple, imagine your email ecosystem is like a triangle, or it could be a circle, rectangle, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to help you visualize here. The foundation of the triangle that holds the ecosystem together is none other than reputation. If you have good reputation, inbox placement rate will increase. Your KPIs like your opens and clicks and resulting ROI, it'll go up. If on the other hand, reputation goes down, deliverability declines, and so does your engagement metrics. Well, what defines reputation? Reputation in itself is such a huge concept. I can speak hours and hours about it. We don't have hours. Trust me, we do own senderscode.org, so we know what is made up of. So I'm trying to simplify it today. The pillars of reputation is just what you see on the screen. It's mainly complaints, it's engagement, it's infrastructure, it's list hygiene. So Sandra and I gave it a bit of a thought and we said, well, how to simplify it even better? So just to explain these drivers, we will cover these pillars broken down by stages of an email journey for a sender. So we will cover pre-flight, in-flight, and post-flight. We will cover define, how to test, how to send, measure, reporting, everything. So Sandra, do you want to take us away?
Yeah, thank you. So before you hit the send button, there are some important steps to take to make sure everything is set up correctly and that everything runs smoothly once your email is on the way to your subscriber. So one important part is the sending infrastructure. A successful email campaign is all about having a robust sending infrastructure set up. It's the foundation of successful delivery of your emails and basically the software and hardware used to deliver your emails. And as you can imagine, there are a lot of different components. And one of them especially impacting deliverability, and so basically your inbox placement directly, is authentication. We can put email senders into two categories: legitimate email senders and the spammers. So imagine how difficult it is for mailbox providers to know who is legitimate and who is not. And email authentication is used as a way to verify that an email is sent from you and not from somebody else. And without correct authentication in place, your emails will more likely end up in the spam folder or even get rejected. And there are many different technical requirements and protocols. We could spend hours talking about only this subject, but maybe you might have already heard about the three major authentication protocols, which are SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. And these are the three most important protocols to implement to prove that the emails you are sending are really coming from you. And you really should care about this as a pillar of an email program. And you know, this all may look a little complicated, but believe us, it's worth the effort. Another important thing to think about it is feedback loops. So did you ever wonder what happens when you click the "this is spam" button in your inbox? Maybe not. So in email marketing language, this action by a subscriber is called complaining or a complaint. So you have to know that the number of complaints is a very driving factor for mailbox providers and spam filters to put future emails into the spam folder. And mailbox provider offer this free of charge service to allow you to identify and to remove complaining subscribers easily from your list to keep the list clean. And that's why email marketers definitely should sign up for all the available feedback loops in their market, because it will help decreasing any damage to deliverability and to your reputation. So this is more the technical part. Now let's focus a little bit more on best practices. For example, list hygiene. So list hygiene is a simple way of saying that you should be constantly watching for acquiring and keeping the right email addresses on your list all the times. A properly maintained and clean list will definitely cut down the risk of harming your reputation. And list hygiene starts with acquisition practices. So we know that nothing is more important to the success of your email marketing program than your subscriber list. But you may be tempted to fasten your list building by buying or renting an email list. But this will lead very, very likely to very poor email performance and will very possibly damage your reputation for a long, long time. Email campaign success depends on healthy open rates, and you want to create a trusted relationship with your subscribers to keep them engaged from the very, very beginning. So hitting the spam button is very easily done, and as a result, your email performances will drop. So always remember, the goal isn't to have the most subscribers, but rather to have a list of full, active, and engaged subscribers. That brings us to another subject, which is consent. The first step to build a successful email list is to get permission, authorization, consent from your subscribers. So basically, they are saying that they want to receive your emails. And always remember, authorization isn't only a courtesy. It is really important to obtain valid and active consent all the time from all your subscribers. And research has shown that when you send to people you don't have permission for, the number of spam complaints you will get increases very, very heavily. So be sure to only send your campaigns to people who gave actively their consent. So now let's talk a little more about the email addresses in your list. So when it comes to who is in your email database, there are two types of addresses you should absolutely avoid. So I'm talking about invalid addresses, also unknown users, and spam traps. So firstly, unknown users are invalid addresses in your database. And one reason of having them is using an old and outdated list, or it can also be the result of non-optimized sign-up processes. For example, it often happens that people make typing mistakes during the sign-up process. So mailbox provider will send you an error code back, which are called bounce messages, to let you know that there is an issue with the address. And reasons can be, for example, the email address may never have existed, or is having a wrong spelling, or is no longer active by choice by the user. The second part is spam traps, also called honeypots. These addresses are used by mailbox providers and spam filters to catch simply spammers. And there are two different types you need to know. So the first one is pristine spam traps, and these are email addresses they have never previously existed. And then the other part is recycled spam traps. These are email addresses that were once valid addresses but have been converted for trapping spammers. So it is important to keep in mind that high spam trap rates are definitely affecting your email reputation. Another important thing to remember is email unsubscribe is a friend and not an enemy. Subscribers who don't engage with your content are not valuable for you. What you want instead is to have subscribers who engage with your email in a positive way. And you want to also avoid having frustrated subscribers hitting the spam button. So make it always as simple as possible to unsubscribe. Include visible unsubscribe options in all your promotional emails. And also we recommend to include the unsubscribe header to provide another option to easily and quickly unsubscribe from your emails. Remember, it is always better for your sending reputation having somebody unsubscribe than to hit the spam button and to complain. So did you know that the average attention span of a human being is only 8 seconds? Maybe not. So that means your subject lines and the content need to be really convincing. And no matter how much experience you have, mistakes always happen. So better safe than sorry, test your emails before you hit the send button. And components to test are, for example, the rendering and the subject lines. So a silly mistake in your subject line or the template could have a very, very negative impact on your results. And email design is very different from web page design. So in the email world, no established standards for rendering or displaying emails. So email testing allows you to verify, for example, for broken links, design issues, spelling errors, spam words, and rendering issues on different mobile devices before the email goes out. So also subject line testing should be a part of your strategy. Subject line have a huge impact on the performances of your email campaigns. So just go ahead and play around with different versions. Once you have done all the setup and the testing, you are finally ready to hit the send button. And now Priyanka will tell you what happens next during the email journey.
What does happen next, right? So now you've acquired your subscribers, you've set up your infrastructure, you've created the content, you've tested them. Now finally you're ready to hit the send button. Time to tackle hurdle 2 and hurdle 3. Remember that complicated slide once more. Did you know 75% of the people complaining on your emails had actually signed up for it in the first place? Like, it was a really shocking stats for me. But when we think about reputation post hitting the send button, the community drivers come into play, like engagement and complaints and so on. So the technical part, Sandra has already covered. So let's now talk about engagement. Engagement can be categorized into positive triggers as well as negative ones. Traditionally, marketers monitor open and click rates to strategize their campaigns, but mailbox providers also observe how your subscribers are engaging with your emails. Are they forwarding it along? Positive trigger. Or are they, for example, deleting it without reading? It's a negative trigger. So then the question remains, what is it that makes a subscriber engage? There is no science behind it, to be honest. We are all subscribers in some way, shape, or form in our daily lives. But DMA did a survey, and it seems recognizing a brand and a subject line came up on the top. And we have already discussed that in Sandra's section. So, what happens when a subscriber then does not engage, right? They start to complain. It's the easiest thing to do. And it is the biggest negative trigger there is, hitting the spam button. Setting up the feedback loop, it absolutely helps, but it does not take away the negative deliverability impact it can have if your complaint rates are high or through the roof. And like I said, right, complaining is the easiest thing to do. You just simply hit the spam button. However, when you have too many complaints, it can also result in you hitting a block list. It is a negative trigger. It impacts reputation. It impacts deliverability. And there are so many block lists around, some even more important than the other. Like, for example, Spam House, it can be like really, really impactful if something happens to your list. Moving on, why do subscribers complain? And I hear it a lot from clients around. And as you've already seen, we love running surveys and learned that the factors that can give rise to complaints are too many emails, emails that are not relevant, emails that are not personalized, among so many other things. So, what can a subscriber do about complaints, really? A million things, to be honest. But today, we will leave you with two thoughts. Number one, segmentation. Think about segmenting your subscribers into active, inactive, or maybe even geography, gender, purchase history, anything you're able to achieve. The data is there already in your database, right? So use it and send more relevant and targeted emails that your subscribers will love and enjoy interacting with. Sorry about my slide changing, guys, but bear with us here. And the second thing that I really wanted to cover is personalization. And trust me, you can make it as simple and as complicated as you like. It's really, really having fun with your campaigns. It is a quick win. We see many senders wanting to personalize, but they never get the time or the resource to be able to do that. I say start small. Use the first and the last name. For example, if you can see this example, Vision Direct, they just used the first and the last name, and it just means something, right? But if you want to go really complex, I have an example from Sephora where they're really tracking your purchase behavior and sending you emails to restock your stash. And not only that, they're also sending you location markers to tell you where the nearest store is. So you can do whatever you like in terms of personalization, but start somewhere would be my advice. Sandra, do you want to take over?
Yeah, so the journey is not over. So, like in everyday life, better safe than sorry. And therefore, you need to monitor and to analyze and measure success by using the right tools for just better understanding and to learn also from the mistakes you maybe made. So, monitoring is very important to anticipate and to limit risks and to spot deliverability incidents or a decrease in engagement. And deliverability monitoring goes behind reporting on the inbox and the spam folder. You should also monitor engagement rates, such, for example, opens and clicks or deleted messages and unsubscribes. And deliverability is strongly based on subscriber engagement. So these metrics are essential for higher inbox placement. And you always should keep in mind, without the data and without monitoring, it will be very, very difficult to detect issues, to correct them, and also to improve your performances. So, well, as you may have seen, deliverability is a complex subject, and we can talk hours about this. So it's not the result of only one move. It's the result of seeing how others react to your emails. And it is really and simply a matter of sending emails that people want to receive and respecting your subscribers. So, and to build and to maintain a positive deliverability, we recommend to start slow and focus on engagement. And by doing this consistently, you will build trust with your subscribers. And it's also a matter of quality over quantity. Doing it well with 5 people is better than doing it poorly with 500. So you can also learn from your past performances and then make smaller changes to your program and test, and step by step achieve better performances in your program and get happy, connected, and engaged customers and subscribers.
Such a valid point, Sandra, such a valid point. I think we also wanted to create your little checklist. It's not everything, but it is something to kind of get you started. Look, start small, start somewhere. The most important thing is test everything. If you have an approach, no approach is big or small. Just go ahead and, test something, test. Make mistakes and be comfortable in making them so that you can learn from it next time. And create those amazing, beautiful campaigns that your subscribers would love to read. Look, the topic of deliverability is vast, it's complex, it's overwhelming, but it does not have to be. So don't get discouraged. Research, read up. There are so many resources around, right? And you know what? An advice from my side, which I say to all my colleagues and teams, is don't forget to breathe. This year hasn't really been kind, right? But we are here, we are all on the same boat, and we will have your back. With that, signing off, it's Priyanka and Sandra. If you need to reach out to us, our contact information is there on the first slide. And hopefully you would have enjoyed this session. And thanks a lot for your time and patience. Thank you.
Thank you.